Good morning again, Phoenix Union. Buenos dias a todos, and welcome to Phoenix Union Convocation 2022. Our theme this year, PXU Next, is our chance to think about and talk about what's next here in Phoenix Union, what's next for the city, and what's next for education in general. And we'll get to that theme soon. But as I usually do, I want to start with a moment of gratitude. We are blessed here in Phoenix Union to serve our community alongside nearly 4,000 full-time employees, part-time employees, temp employees, and guest teachers, as well as several volunteers who give countless hours of their time to serve nearly 30,000 beautiful young men and young women. Thank you for choosing Phoenix Union. And specifically, inside of PXU, there are nearly 200 brand new employees, and we promise it gets better. First year in any new job, any new profession can be challenging, but here in Phoenix Union, we have resources. We ask you to reach out, find a mentor, ask for help. Phoenix Union is an incredible place here to love you and watch you grow and flourish as an educator and as a professional. And maybe you're not in your first year. Maybe you're like me. You're somewhere in the middle of your Phoenix Union experience or your educational career. This will be my 8th year as superintendent, 14th year in this incredible school district, 22nd year in education. And I come back every year for the same reason that many of you do. I love to work alongside educators, passionate and purposeful about this work. But also we come to serve beautiful children. Not just Phoenix Union's children, but we are an influencer and a leader of a pipeline of nearly 150,000 K-12 students. Or maybe you're nearing the end of your time in Phoenix Union. You've hit 30, 40, some of you even 50-year milestones. In fact, some of you have been around longer than these things have even existed. Since before the Diamondbacks launched, the Cardinals came to Arizona. Some of you, even before cell phones and the internet, you've made a life and a lifestyle out of Phoenix Union. And for that, we're extremely grateful. But we're also grateful that you've decided to choose the field of education. We are living during a time known as the Great Attrition, a time in which more adults are leaving their jobs, their careers, and their employers than ever before, abandoning certificates, licenses, and majors, searching for something else, searching for a different purpose. And in Phoenix Union, we also know it's a time of great attraction, that as people are on the market, searching for new jobs and new purpose, they're looking for organizations and districts that are values aligned. And Phoenix Union wants to be a place of great attraction. It's why you're here, but we don't just want to attract you, we want to keep you. We want to serve you, and we want to support you. We're committed to continuing to create incredible working environments for you because we know that your working environment is the learning environment for our children. But let me tell you what we also know, that the last few years have been tough. Tough in this profession, tough in some days and in some ways just to be a human being. We know that the end of 2020 was such a challenging experience for all of us in education. We went away on spring break in March, and we have never been the same. Fourth quarter of 2020 was the quarter of #closed, not closed. Every student, every day, laptop and hotspot. It's also the season of home visits, the season of food deliveries, and it was the year of drive-through graduations, and we were certain that 2020 was the worst of it. But we were wrong. We know that 2021 was even more challenging, the year that we were remote for 3 quarters. The year that vaccinations hit the scene and Phoenix Union became a citywide and a nationwide leader in community health. And then at the end of 21, we tiptoed back in. We brought our students back to campus in preparation for last school year. And like many of you, we were certain that the worst was behind us, and yet what I also know to be true is that last year was undoubtedly the most challenging year in public education history. It was a year where we fought over masks and vaccines. It was the year of Delta and Omicron. There were moments that were touch and go in education. Here in Phoenix Union, thank God for I-Days, third quarter. But we know that it was challenging not just inside of Phoenix Union and education, what's happening globally and economically. We live in very divided times. It's a time of inflation and high gas prices and unaffordable housing and a workforce crisis, a labor crisis, and supply chain issues. And no matter how you look at it, it has been a roller coaster. And some of us can handle the twists and the turns and the ups and the downs and the hills and the valleys better than others. Others don't handle it so well, just like these two gentlemen.
We're riding the Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket.
I'm a grown man.
All right, let's go. Let's do it. Come on, we got it.
Some of you are more like Jimmy Fallon. You can handle the ups and downs. Others more like Kevin Hart. But the reality is, no matter who you are, what we're hoping for is a much smaller, smoother, easier, more predictable roller coaster. Every year's a roller coaster, but we're looking for better. And in fact, earlier this summer, we went looking for it in our own backyard. We are here at Encanto Park. They are bound to have a very easy roller coaster. Yeah, I agree. The teaching learning framework is critically important again this year, but we gotta get it right. Regardless of the roller coaster that lies ahead in 2022, 2023, we're hopeful and confident it will be better. What we do know is no matter who you are and how you handle the ups and downs, we're all thinking about what's next, what lies ahead. But one thing that we have to be honest with ourselves about is that we should not be waiting for a new normal to come. We should not be waiting in eager anticipation that in just a month or two, inflation, workforce crisis, supply chain, all that's happening is going to go away. Because the reality is that the times in which we're living is the next normal. The next normal is here. And it's not an easy normal. It's a tough normal. Last year, I shared on our screen a picture of the Phoenix Suns coach. He said, "What you want is on the other side of hard." There's a new viral video of a coach, and she's giving a motivational speech to her players, and she says really clearly, "You have to get better at hard." You have to get better at hard. And the reality is, we're living during hard times. We can make these hard times better. That's why we're talking about what's next. But these are very challenging times. There is rapid change. And in fact, if we put this in the context of science and the history of our planet, of our climate, of the animal kingdom, of humankind, as we study the course of history, Change is slow and ever evolving. But there are moments in time of rapid change. And in science, this time is known as punctuated equilibrium. That in most times and most seasons, things feel balanced. There's a sense of equilibrium. But there are times like today, there are times like the last 3 years, where things don't feel as safe. They don't feel as certain. They don't feel as balanced. That's the reality that we live in today. But let me tell you another reality. We have a choice. We can fight the change that is inevitably coming, or we can view this as a chance to make things better. Because pre-COVID wasn't that great for most of our children, for our profession, and in many ways for our society. This is a chance to make it better. We have to focus on the next normal that we're in and stay focused on building a better new normal when that time comes. We must take what we've learned over the last few years, reflect upon 2020, 2021, 2022, but we must begin to focus on the future and create a better future for ourselves, for our children, for this profession. But I also think it's important that we stop and we remember that the last few years have been heartbreaking for many in our community. That even as this image plopped on the screen, some had a moment of sympathy and empathy. You thought to yourself, people in your broader community or family who have lost loved ones. But others, you saw this image and your heart broke and your stomach sank. You've been impacted intimately by loss. In our community, in Phoenix Union, in our city, we have lost children, family members, loved ones, students, neighbors. We must always remember those no longer with us. We must always be willing to walk alongside those who are grieving. We must be an company, an institution, an organization, a school district that celebrates with those who celebrate, but we must mourn with those who mourn. And so as we think about authoring this next chapter, as we think about moving into this next normal, let us never forget those who are no longer with us. And we must dream of better. We must dream of what's next, and we must fight for what's next. Phoenix Union has always been a leader in the city. We're now a statewide leader. We're a national leader. And in this next normal, we will help author a better field of education, a better experience for our employees and our children, and influence systems all across the city, the state, and our nation. And sometimes that means we must break free from the pack. Sometimes that means we must take risks, be bold. But no matter what, we will be a leader on behalf of our children and our community. And I would argue it may be more important now than ever to be bold. As this says, you are either at the table or on the menu. And public district education at a national level and at a state level, in so many ways, is on the menu. And we must be clear that public education is one of the most important institutions in our nation. We're one of the only institutions designed to transform lives. Education is known as the great equalizer. We are the institution where children can show up in kindergarten, victims of opportunity gaps and resource gaps and generational poverty and systems of racism and oppression, and show up at very different starting lines and travel through public education and walk across the stage in high school, truly ready to break cycles of poverty and live out full potential as an adult in college, career, and life. And this year And in the years to come, we have to make that very clear that we believe in the importance and the value and the impact of public education. We must move forward with great urgency for this work. There's unfinished learning. There's children that need to get caught up. We're moving into a very different time in public education, and so we must move forward not just with urgency, with intentionality, and constantly work at the crossroads of those two ideas. And what that means in Phoenix Union is there are things that we will not abandon in this new normal, in this next normal. We will not abandon who we are. We'll not abandon our mission and our values. We will not change or waver in our promise to our community and to our children. We will not change our commitments. We'll not even move away from our message last year that love sits at the foundation of learning. During these very uncertain and challenging times, it is critical that we continue to focus on creating environments of love and connection and acceptance and inclusion. And when that is in place, learning and growth accelerates. And we will certainly not abandon the learners that we are developing. We are sending our youth out into a global society, into a technological society, into a workforce that requires that they leave our system with attributes that will enable them to be successful. Every single year, the quality of our graduates and the quality of our diploma must mean more and more. And so what's next in Phoenix Union? In this next, as much as we want to move fully away from COVID and health issues, COVID's not going away. In this next, we will continue to be committed to your health. We'll continue to follow the science. We'll continue to offer health clinics and vaccination clinics. We're going to make sure your campus and your classroom is clean. In this next normal, your health will be a priority. We also know in this next normal, your wellness has to be front and center. Your social, your emotional, your physical wellness. That's why Phoenix Union launched an employee wellness department over this past year, even implemented 2 new roles, wellness managers. We will care about, through our actions, your personal, professional, social, emotional, and even financial wellness. We know that in this next normal, your money matters. That's why this past year we implemented a new salary schedule. We revised job descriptions, and we are once again back at the table, revisiting your compensation. We know that in this really challenging economy, in a time of great inflation, the more we can compensate you, the more you can focus on your family and on your career. We know your money matters in this next. What we also know is that your safety matters. We know that in this post-Uvalde world where we saw the worst massacre in our nation's history in our public schools, and even before that, we know how important in this COVID society, in a time of youth struggling with isolation and behavior and doubt and self-harm and anxiety, how important it is to create safe environments. And that is why this past spring, we launched a new safety division, new people, new protocols, new systems, new processes. We delivered more safety training and summits and academies than we ever have before this summer. When you step back on campus and your kids come back next week, you will see safer campuses than we've ever had. We also know that we need to lead outside of Phoenix Union. We learned throughout COVID about the digital divide. We knew that it existed, but we experienced it firsthand. And Phoenix Union, through laptop and hotspot distribution, played a role, but even bigger than that. Last year, we announced, and you will soon see a full rollout, that here in the city of Phoenix, we will blanket the entire city with a canopy of free Wi-Fi for every single K-12 and community college student. In partnership with the city of Phoenix, Maricopa Community College District, and all of our partner districts, a rollout over the next couple of years, ensuring that every child, whether they're at school, in a coffee shop, on a bus, in the neighborhood, at a park, that they have access to Wi-Fi, to internet, to jobs, to homework, to projects, to learning, to growth. We'll also continue to lead citywide in a different way. COVID has brought our 14 school districts here in Phoenix proper together like never before. Before COVID, our districts, although part of one K-12 system of 14 school districts, struggled to meet, and still to this day, we meet every single week. Last year, at the very end of the year, we published a letter together announcing the launch of the Phoenix Public Schools Collaborative. It's not a unification effort, it's an alignment effort. That you will see Phoenix Union and our 13 partner districts who share the same children, same families, same parks, same churches, same grocery stores start to act that way and align systems, structures, and even our vision together to build a stronger city. And we're also going to continue to lead at a national level, to rethink time. If we learned anything in COVID, we learned that learning does not have to take place Monday through Friday, 8 to 3 p.m., inside of four walls. Phoenix Union will continue to rethink how we navigate bell schedules and time inside of our system, but we're also a part of a national group through the Carnegie Foundation, helping to shape and rethink what time looks like across the country. To meet our students where they're at, to meet our educators where they're at, and to truly prepare a generation of youth for a global society that needs different types of learners and workers. But we also know that as we continue to lead at a city and a national level, our work here at home matters even more. You will see us continue to invest heavily in our freshmen. Our freshman year, known as the make or break year, is a year where we bring in nearly 8,000 students from over 200 schools and help them integrate into the Phoenix Union family. You'll see a deep investment in our freshmen. Phoenix Union is also going to continue to play in the digital space. We've learned about digital learning. We launched a digital academy pre-COVID, and it was a school designed to have just a couple hundred students. And last year, PXU Digital grew to nearly 2,000. And based on enrollment trends, that will continue. Phoenix Union, over the course of the next couple of months, will start to roll out a bigger, broader vision for PXU Digital, including very soon a name change from PXU Digital to Phoenix Digital. If we're going to be in the space, we're going to lead the city. We also just closed on a piece of property right next door to PXU Digital, preparing for future expansion. We're going to lead in this next normal, and we're going to lead in the digital space. We're also going to continue to rethink what schools look like and what school is. Phoenix Union next week officially launches our 23rd school in our portfolio, a school never before seen in America. A school where the city is your classroom. There are no limits. Students can design their own high school experience from scratch. In fact, let's take a look.
Is high school not working for you? How would you like to design your own experience? Look no further. PXU City is for you.
PXU City offers flexible scheduling that works with your lifestyle. This allows you to have a part-time job, take care of family, and even succeed at your own pace.
You can participate in internships in your career interests to prepare you for college, career, and life.
And yes, you're also able to earn college credit through dual enrollment classes.
At PXU City, you can choose from any of our schools in our portfolio and attend classes in person and virtually.
Come and join us to prepare yourself for a career as a chef, nurse, pilot, or any other amazing career path that Phoenix Union offers.
At PXU City, the city is your classroom. The future is your choice.
We are excited not just for the future of PXU City, but for Phoenix Educator Preparatory, the 24th school in our portfolio. Under the leadership of Phoenix Union alumna Dr. Elena Adams, Phoenix Educator Preparatory promises to create the next generation teacher, counselor, social worker, and perhaps other ed professions. This school is set to launch in August 2023. That also doesn't mean that we're not focused on our current school models. We launched the academies at South Mountain several years ago. We continue to perfect the academies model. In fact, we're taking all of our lessons learned and are launching the academies at Trevor Brown and perhaps future academies to come. We also continue to focus on our current school models, making them stronger and better, just like Metro Tech High School. Congratulations once again, an A-plus School of Excellence, the only high school named A-plus School of Excellence this year. We'll continue to look at all of our schools in our portfolio, schools large, schools small, and ensure that the structure and design of our schools are meeting the needs of all of our children. And speaking of our children, it's not about the school models. It's about the culture and the climate and the opportunity and the connectedness that exists inside of our schools. Phoenix Union will continue to live out our promise. We'll continue to live out our anti-discrimination policy and make sure that every single child and adult is home, is free from racism, discrimination, that everybody feels included. We live in a bully-free environment, that we create cultures of love and acceptance and inclusion on every single one of our campuses and every single workplace. Every child should be included. And when we say all, we mean all. We must create environments that allow student-to-student connection, staff-to-staff connection, and student-to-staff connection. And in many ways, we are embedding these values into what we call the teaching and learning framework. That inside this framework, we are providing training and growth and opportunity for every employee in Phoenix Union to connect differently and connect better with our students and with each other. And inside of this framework where we are training heads and hearts and hands of our employees, we're learning how to connect with this generation, how to truly make love and relationships at the foundation of our learning. You will see more connection in this next normal between teaching and learning and student and family services than ever before. And that's a glimpse into what's next, but that's not all. We continue to work on other systems and structures and supports to make sure that in this next normal, we're driving change, and creating better. But we also don't know it all. As I said at the beginning, we have 4,000 incredible employees. And you all have different perspectives and different ideas. We want to know, what's your next? It doesn't matter what role you play. It doesn't matter how long you've been in Phoenix Union. It doesn't matter your title. As this amazing quote says, do what you can with what you have where you are. Wherever you are, we want to hear from you. If you have ideas about this next, how to make Phoenix Union stronger, how to make our community stronger, we want to hear from you. Think about your next, send it to us. We'll compile our ideas, we'll share your ideas, and our plan and our hope is to implement some of your ideas in this next normal. On behalf of our entire community, on behalf of our executive team, our governing board, I want to thank you once again. I want to thank you for choosing this incredible place. I want to thank you for staying in this field when our kids need us most. And I want to thank you for helping us live out our values and our promise and our mission every day. I hope to see you around one of our 23 campuses soon. Thank you.